Sound check, sound check. Alright, we're recording. Alright, what's up, y'all? This is Ian. I'm actually back doing YouTube right now, and I'm just making this video regarding React.js, because I'm actually wondering if it just bullshit framework that was created to compete with Angular. Also, there's that. Actually checking for the performance of React.js, because we're actually planning to use this framework for the front end for the projects that we have, an upcoming projects that we have. So I'm just actually checking this out. Well, there's actually a lot of good things regarding React.js, but I've read some articles stating that React is slow. I'm not too sure if that's a correct statement, but as of this moment there's no conclusion to that. But I think React is pretty fast, because the way it works, based on the documentation that I've read earlier and some articles that I've read, basically you're creating static file or static HTML using JavaScript. However, they're actually storing or downloading all of that resources all at once on your browser. So basically, if you're going to click some pages on a website or a web app, the HTML file isn't actually being downloaded again, unlike the stack HTML or CSS or Bootstrap file. So basically, since this is for a client and I think let me check that out. I think so. This is a client-side web app or a static application. So basically, every resources will be downloaded, I think, incrementally or all at once. And the only thing that is being updated from time to time, if you're going to switch from one page to another, is actually the contents or the API or the request from the back end. Unlike the HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap, well, for the Bootstrap part, you can definitely use CDN, but for HTML and CSS, actually what's happening is, since that is a server side or being downloaded from the server, for the performance, I think React is actually much faster than stack HTML and CSS. However, for the past, let's say 5-6 years from now, that was way back 2014, I've been actually using HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap for front end, and for the back end I've been using PHP. Alright, for front end I can say I've been using JavaScript too, but yeah, JavaScript, jQuery, something like that. For the database, I've been using MySQL for the past 5 years, I assume, yeah. If I got it correctly, that would be 5 years that I've been using MySQL. I've tried using Postgres and SQLite, but for the most part I've been using MySQL. But for this year I've actually learned on how to use MongoDB. I've actually used that database to the current business that we have. So that would be rpointsolution.com. That's actually the business that we've just registered this year. I think that's way back June 1st, I think, if I got it correctly. Well, yeah, React is not a bullshit framework or a library. It's actually useful because you can also create a mobile app using this. You can use the native one, which is React Native. You can be able to develop some useful mobile application using that. I'm not sure, since this React is developed and maintained by Facebook, I'm not sure if they're using this on their own website. I think they're using this on facebook.com, but I'm not too sure about Instagram. I think the developers of Instagram is actually using or have used Laravel for this. I'm not quite sure about that, but I think it's Laravel. The bad thing though regarding these frameworks or JavaScript front-end frameworks is that some of them are just actually darn awful, because Angular had this issue because it's too big, it's too heavy to use. Well, React is actually in the middle of it because we do have a new front-end framework, which is Vue. That would be Vue.js. It's developed by Evan You and published it as an open source front-end framework. For React, I think this is an open source too by Facebook, and Angular is actually an open source. I think it's just an open source. Angular. Well, it's not indicated though, but it's maintained by Google. So it says here it's written in TypeScript. This is actually one of the reasons why I actually hate this kind of frameworks, because if you're going to take a look at the syntax of TypeScript, I've actually tried to review that syntax compared to, or had that comparison with JavaScript to TypeScript. If you're going to take a look at their syntax, syntax compared to JavaScript. The only thing that I've noticed here, where's that code? The only thing that I've noticed here in this code snippet is that there's actually zero difference. The only main difference is that if you're going to declare a variable, you need to indicate a specific data type compared to JavaScript. I'm not so sure if we're going to take a look at the different aspect of this syntax, like the conditional statement and loops, but I think they're pretty much the same. There's no much of a difference with regards to TypeScript and JavaScript. And if you're going to take a look at the JavaScript part, which is kind of awful, let's take a look at the list of JavaScript frameworks. Okay, alright, see what I mean? There's tons and tons of libraries and frameworks of JavaScript, which is, it's not that bad, but it's actually it's like a cancer. If you know what I mean. Come on. If you're using a different programming languages and using those for web, there's actually just 1, 2, 3 frameworks that you can choose from, and those 3 or 4 frameworks will going to suit your needs more than enough. However, for JavaScript, it's a mess. And not to mention the NPM, there's a lot of shit going on in there. We're supposed to be using Yarn for this past decade, but well, I think everyone just switched again to NPM, so there's that. What are the things that I need to point out with regards to React? Well, pretty much React is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, because I'm actually planning to use React for the front end of our system that we're going to develop for our point solution. We're actually going to create a platform out of it and sell it as a service. So actually, yeah, I just need to review the specific syntaxes. Where's that? React. I just need to review the syntax for React, because I do know, and I already reviewed and had a refresher for JavaScript, because I think I haven't used JavaScript for pretty good 1.5 years. But if I'm looking on the syntax of React, it's not that different from JavaScript, but I really need to review this, especially the components and props, statement lifecycle, something like that, which can be found actually. Everything is well documented on the React website, which is their documentation right here, but I just need to review this, read this, understand it apparently, and begin to experiment with it. I've actually tried using and creating an app for this. If you're going to visit my GitHub repo, I think I do have Node.js or React. I'm not so sure, I can't remember. Okay, so basically I think so it's a Node.js. For this year, 5 months ago, I've started learning Node.js, because I think I'm being left behind with regards to the web development stuff going on right now. Since it's actually the height of pandemic, I'm actually being put to the test for boredom, so I decided to learn Node.js on my free time. I'm actually working full-time in a corporate job, but I'm still accepting freelance web development, web app development, and some programming stuff. For this year, I've actually uploaded some Python script of my own. It's called Goatsy. It's actually a backdoor Python script. You can definitely create an installer for this, and use it for educational purposes only, if you know what I mean. And since I've named it Goatsy for a backdoor, that's up to you to decide. You can just search the meaning of that, and you'll know. You can just download it here if you want to. You can use it, since I've already put README, a slide documentation for it, so you can fork it, you can download it. And yeah, for NPM, I've actually uploaded some of my own. It's called session storage for Node.js, because I'm having this issue regarding session storage, because I can't use that inside Node.js, since session storage do work for JavaScript, since It's actually storing data like local storage on your browser, and I really can't use that inside Node.js. So I've decided to create and emulate that process. So if you're needing session storage for your backend, but you do need to store that on the client side, which is the browser of that said user, you can definitely download it here. It's easy to use. It's like using the real session storage. You can just use the current syntax for it. I think it hasn't changed yet, so there's that. What else? For React, yeah, I'm considering to use this, pairing this React.js with Node.js for back-end process. I'm actually thinking Node.js for APIs, REST API, but I'm actually considering to use GraphQL, but I'm not too familiar with it. I actually can learn using GraphQL, but I just don't have the time since I'm working full-time in a corporate job, so they say. So, well, you can also use React, I think, with other back-end languages. So you can pair React.js with PHP. There's actually tons of tutorials that you can watch or read regarding this. It's actually quite easy. You're just using React instead of normal stack HTML and CSS. If you're going to be able to see the contents of the source file right here, you're just generating static HTML file from the public or to the public directory. So you're just using that JavaScript shit. You can also use C# for the backend, and will become MVC, and you can use .NET for that. I'm actually considering C# because there's actually an article that I've read that C# is pretty good for backend, especially with those asynchronous function, stuff like that. You can also combine React.js, Node.js, and C# for backend, but this would fall down to micro architecture or microservices actually, since you're running a different server for Node.js and a different port, and this will go the same with C#, of course. You're running a different server and a different port for C# as a backend. So, well, you can experiment for it. I think we're settled with React.js. We're going to use this for the front end of our web app as a service that we're going to upload. I'm pretty much concerned regarding the performance of React, but I think everything has been covered. I just need to review the syntaxes, starts to create the front end for the web app, and we'll give you guys an update. Or I think if Clever John and I will going to push through with the schedule of our podcast, I think we're going to talk about more about this on the podcast. If not, I think I'm going to stream or a dev stream perhaps next week, or because I'm going to do this at least once a week or twice a week. I'm going to do this full time right now. It's been a while. When was the last time that I've uploaded a video on YouTube, a proper vlog or anything? I think that's way back 2016. It's already 2020, so that'll be at least 3 to 4 years. Okay, time flies by. So just if you're a lucky guy or a lucky woman was able to find this video, just put some comment down below. Please subscribe. You can like it, because back then you can monetize your videos by having 100 subscriber. There's no specific limit or specific requirement regarding views though. But as of this moment, I've checked the requirements. You actually need to have 1,000 subscriber and for at least 4,000 views for any of your videos or combined. So basically, we're far behind. But I'm thinking positive. I'm just doing this for fun. And if you want to see more, please subscribe, like, or comment down below. Okay? Alright, thank you so much. I think that's it for me. And peace out.